ladies, gentlemen, women, men, Ronan, we have the absolute pleasure of hearing a short, meaningful and brieful speech by Peter Lawler.
So I really am nobody if I'm not my own father's son. So to be honest, you've already got the expectations, so I'd sit back, relax, put your arms out, get your drinks in. This might take a while, okay? And I'm not joking. So I've been informed that the groom speech should be a very easy one. Just a couple of quick thank yous and to state the obvious about your beautiful bride. However, the minute I sat down to put my thoughts to paper for the 15th time at 2 a.m. last night, I knew this wasn't going to be a very easy process. Not only have so many wonderful people in this room tonight made such incredible efforts to make the day as special as it has been for the both of us, there is no stating the obvious when it comes to describing the love and admiration and happiness that I now have for the woman I now call as my wife, Gwen Cruz. No, honestly, save your applause because this is going to go for a while. I think Gwen will wholeheartedly agree with me, but the fact that we have managed to bring together such a unique and diverse group of individuals from our short life together to celebrate our big day fills us with immense pride and joy. We did have some trepidations as to seeing how our cultural experiment would work, but much like our own selves, you have done very, very well. Well done. Before I do get too far into my speech, I do need to acknowledge and thank all those who have traveled such great distances to be here with us today. It means the absolute world to the both of us that that so many of you have been able to come from Australia, and except for the balmy 17 degrees that we've had today, it has certainly made Gwen feel like she has been at home. And for me, it feels like I've been in my home away from home. I feel extremely lucky in the fact that I get to call the lucky country my own home. And while I have both a governor and a bunch of Australians in the room with me, I really should say thanks to that lucky country for adopting me. I do only have very positive things to say about Australia when it comes to thinking about how much they have embraced and supported me. But at the same time, I don't think I can ever draw myself to a level of support for the Wallabies. So unfortunately, that is the extent of my Australianism. In saying that, all the Australians in the room should be very proud of the fact that I'm going to be able to host a barbecue for 70 people tomorrow. We're both so very grateful to be able to celebrate our marriage today in such beautiful surroundings as Gloucester House. I remember back to a very, very wet and miserable day in December 2015 when Gwen and I were crisscrossing the country in poor old PJ and Deirdre's wagon, putting on the mileage on the clock, which she didn't expect. And we chanced upon Gloucester House. When we first walked into that lobby, we were really stupefied. It was an amazing venue, which I hope all of you had the similar experience today. But it was only that afternoon when we actually got to spend a couple of hours with Tom and Mary and hear their story as to the last 15 years and their labour of love and their passion and their trial and actually restoring this house, which my dad talked about. But it was an inspiration to both Gwen and I as to how to set about a relationship for the both of us, insofar as there's always going to be a difficult road ahead, but we know we can get through every single obstacle that stands in our way. In fairness, while only an individual like Spreadsheet Gwen could have organised such a unique and special day as today, there have been countless people involved who have made our day so special for the both of us. So I am actually going to ask for your patience and your perseverance in your clapping to actually sustain yourself through the next 45 minutes in actual fact. First off, no good Irish party starts without the drink and the food. And in fairness, no Australian party does either. So I'd really like to call out Natasha, who's serving coffee right over there, her team, including Siobhan and everybody else. Thank you so much for the wonderful spread that you put on for us tonight. You've really highlighted the actual Irish cuisine that we never thought we had 20 years ago, so thank you. However, the best aspect for me today, aside from being hitched to my darling new bride over here, has been that our celebration has only come together thanks to the hard work and the invaluable contributions of so many friends and family. From all those involved in the ceremony today, including our readers, Esther, Amy, Gareth, Mary and Fergal, to our two brilliant MCs, Jen and Jeremy. Thank you so much for all your efforts today. I think, as we alluded to previously, but there are a couple of people here today who have made an extra special effort, and that's Gwen's Aunt Kate and Uncle Chris. So Uncle Chris has literally stood behind that camera, which I'm pointing at right now, and I'll watch back in about 10 years' time, but has worked tirelessly all day to record the events today. But aside from that, he was also created this beautiful wedding box, which they both carry. Obviously, what I hope is a very extraordinary bottle of wine all the way from Australia for us. If it's not Penfolds Grange, I'm disappointed. I'll see you in 10 years' time and you're all welcome. We might do it back here again, we'll see. And speaking about lasting impressions, so Kate and Chris are obviously creating lasting impressions for us today, but there is one individual in the room who has already created lasting impressions. And I think Gwen already told us about that, and that's Isabel. Isabel, you really have been such a support to both Gwen and I. You actually have created our special day today, and I can only be too thankful. I know you got onto a plane 48 hours ago, not feeling the best. You came here to design a table plan, which is out here, and both of us really do appreciate all the efforts that you've made for both of us tonight. Thank you. I think she deserves a round of applause. It wouldn't be a wedding if it wasn't for the mammies. Mammies. Janet, I've never called you this, but you're now the mammy. And all my siblings were all looking at me going, we never called them mammy, it was man. I really do need to acknowledge both of your special efforts today in baking our cakes today. I had the privilege of growing up in a home which I always had health, nourishment, you can tell, and I always had some baked goods, and it resulted in the fact that I now love biscuits and I can't walk to Tesco without eating a packet of biscuits. A lot of people here know that. But aside from that, we both really do appreciate the extra special effort that both of you went to in terms of actually baking our cakes today. It means a lot to the both of us, and I can guarantee you need to eat some cake. But if not tonight, tomorrow. Don't know tonight. Tomorrow. To my three groomsmen, I think the bridesmaids have covered it. I am going to take the moral high ground here, and be a little bit nice to you because I know you're not going to be nice to me. But Ronan, Kenny, and Aurelian, for the last 17 years that I've known you, each of you have been a true inspiration and support for me. We literally have taken journeys which have twisted and turned on different junctures, and we've done different things at different times. But the thing that means the most to me of the three of you is the three of you have stayed true to who you are all the way through. So the lads that we knew back in UCD in, 2000, 2000, you've never changed a bit, and I really do appreciate it. Except for the fact that we don't drink Dutch Gold anymore, so. I know you're about to slaughter me publicly in an attack which Donald Trump would be proud to call fake news, and it is fake news. But I'm sure we can still be mates afterwards. I must also say you have scrubbed up very well. Can we have a round of applause? You are giving applause for what you think is actually their own efforts, but it actually isn't. It's my Uncle Johnny over there who has done tremendous efforts in making sure that these lads look as good as they do today. Oh, okay, so ugly groomsmen to beautiful bridesmaids. Ladies, it would not be proper of me if I could not tell you how each of you look so stunning tonight. Sorry. While each of you look radiant, and you always have looked radiant, it's not the radiance that you show today, it's the radiance that you show inside, and always have done, which is what I admire the most. I cannot thank each of you enough for the love, support that each of you have showed for Gwen and myself over the years. Gwen hasn't been, as I alluded to, Gwen hasn't been the only recipient of that kindness, and I need to acknowledge the fact that you welcomed and supported me for the first time I arrived in Australia, and in particular Ketso, who shared her home with Gwen and myself, albeit it did take a bribery of a new DVD player and a brand new wok in order to warm herself to myself. It felt like I had never left home when I arrived into the friendship that each of you had afforded me. I really cannot thank you enough. You are the absolute bedrock to mine and Gwen's relationship, and without it, we would never have succeeded, so thank you. If I can, I would like to raise the first toast of the night, I believe. Is this the first toast? Okay, second toast. Sorry, second toast. I haven't been paying attention. I'm concentrating on this. I'm very, very nervous, so excuse me. I would like, I'm also doing toast with water, which is not a good thing. I would like to offer the second toast of the evening to our beautiful bridesmaids. In speaking of receiving warm welcomes into new countries, having left a really strong family unit behind, I wandered into Australia, and it would have been impossible for mine and Gwen's relationship to have prospered if it was not for that first cruise family Christmas that I experienced back in 2007. Michael, David, Janet, and Leo, each of you have extended me the warmest of welcomes that almost made me feel like I was still hanging out at a lower family Christmas. But we didn't argue as much, which was good. I will always be indebted to the generosity and the kindness that you have afforded me, and I'm really proud to now call myself part of the cruise family and call Cook one of my true homes. Saying that, the reason why I am the individual that I am today, and the reason that I was able to swoon a girl like Gwen, has to be for those people who have influenced me most of my life, and that has to be the Lawler family. We're a unique little clan, by the way. We're almost a Manson family. You know that. As most of you are now aware, based upon the previous speeches, I've got something to say. You can come up here. Come on, we're the Manson family. As most of you are now aware, Gwen and I share being the youngest members of our family. Now, there's a misconception to being the youngest member of your family, and that's that you are spoiled. I would like to dispel that myth tonight, if I may. Nobody ever talks about the guy who was always served the smallest piece of dessert last. You know that. Or the fact that my wardrobe at the age of 14 was a collection of fashion trends ranging from 1978 to 1992. In addition to the trauma of a 7-year-old looking back at his siblings who were 3 years younger at the time on holiday in France and going, "Where's Peter?" But that is a different story. You can all ask me that one later. It actually is quite good. But I have been truly spoiled, in other words. I am the youngest to 4 inspirational siblings. At every step of my life so far, I have been challenged by the successes of my elder siblings as they trailblazed a way for me, whether that be in the sporting, academic, professional, or family lives. But rather than just setting that challenge, each of them have done so in an encouraging and supporting fashion, which makes me want to do the exact same for my family when I'm going to be 20 years hence. So I have to thank each of you from the bottom of my heart. Blah, Fergal, Aidan and Jerry, I'm so proud of everything you've done in your lives, but the great thing is you continue to both inspire and challenge me. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for all that you've done. There's a reason, though, as to why I can have so much pride in my family and my siblings. It's a bit misplaced, but I still do have it. And that does have to be due to the fact of my 2 wonderful parents, Peter and Deirdre. I shouldn't call them Peter and Deirdre, I should call them Mum and Dad. That's what I always call them. Yeah, she's always been fine, it's fine. As the youngest member of my family, I've witnessed the full journey that my parents have been on in terms of them raising their own family. However, from everything I have experienced to everything I have witnessed, I can say with absolute confidence there are not too many other fortunate people out there to have been raised in such a loving home. You have given me the guiding principles in which I live, and in which I have managed to actually secure such a beautiful bride as I have today. And you can rest assured that they will be carried on into the next generation also. The sacrifices that both of you have made to ensure my success in life is nothing short of extraordinary, although I only really did comprehend it from the age of 25. Mum and Dad, I hope that as you witness the last of your children get married today, that you can both now look back at the last 40 years of your marriage and realize what an amazing achievement you have had in raising the family that you have. You will always be my source of inspiration and knowledge as I continue on to the next stage of my life with Gwen. And finally, I thought this was the easy part. And I did type this, and I said, I know it's 4 a.m. That's me typing, by the way. And I am 2,000 words in. But unfortunately, I think it may require another 10,000 more to accurately describe what my new bride means to me and what she has done for me in my life. I actually cried with him by this point when I read this speech at like at 11 o'clock this morning, and he cried too, but he's not crying yet.
I'm crying now, you fucker.
If I had to sum it up, Gwen, you are the most stunning and gorgeous bride, friend, traveling companion, and person that I have ever had the grace to meet. While you are looking $1 million tonight, I will still never ever forget that first night in Dahab when the most beautiful tanned Australian girl in the hostel confidently engaged me in a conversation about New Zealand rugby. That's never happened since, and she's not getting up for the lines. I don't think I can either. I knew from that very moment and in that very night that I would absolutely chase you to the ends of the earth. And to be honest, I think I actually have done a pretty good job at that. Until our dying days, I will continue to be in awe of your intellect, compassion, and thirst for life. But it's not just you that makes us work so well. I truly do believe that we were made to be together. We just fit too well together for it to be serendipity that we met all those years ago in Egypt. Whether it be you opening my eyes to a worldwide world of cuisine and chili and every other food that I've never heard about in my life, to me teaching you how to ride a bike in Burma, which I am extremely proud that you managed to do. I love the fact that every single day that we wake up, we continue to push each other on to new boundaries. I cannot envisage the rest of my life without having you by my side. It was difficult enough last night facing into today without having you there to comfort me and encourage me as you have done so many times in the past 10 years through something that I thought was really, really difficult and ended up being so special and so easy to actually do. I love you with all that I have to give, and I cannot wait to start our next adventure together, wherever that may be. But I do know, thanks to my sister Blah and my brother-in-law Jerry, that's going to start on the west coast of Ireland next Monday morning. And from there, we're going to get on with the rest of our lives. Can I ask you all now, please, to raise your glasses to my darling, beautiful new wife. I do need to retake my seat, and that was all the lovey-dovey stuff over it. And to be honest, I can never actually truly articulate in front of all you people how much I do love Gwen, because mine and Gwen's relationship, I'm never the one who, this is now me back talking to my wife. I'm never the one who can ever talk from my heart, but like when it comes to Gwen, she is just so special to me, and she has just done so much for me in my life. I grew up dreaming of a girl like her that I never had, and then I came across her, and then I ended up here. And from here, I think I ended up there, and the only thing I'm happy about is the fact that I ended up there with her. So I look forward to that journey. But I do now have to put you on to my Donald Trump aficionados who are going to be the ministers of misinformation. So I know a lot of you don't know me pre-2006. They're going to talk about pre-2006. Don't believe it, honestly. It's all lies. It's much like myself. It's only the embellishment of the story. You're in Ireland. We like to talk about stories.
We've had meaningful, we've had heartfelt, we've had lexically challenged, we've had well planned, and now we have 3 good-looking men with well-exercised jaws, shifty eyes, and something to say. Can we have 3 groomsmen up here, please?
Good evening, everybody. And that's a wrap. So don't be expecting any Venn diagrams or pivot tables from us. The standard's going to go way down there. I'm Ronan. This is Aurelion to my right, Kenny to my left. We are the 3 best men. Bit of divide and conquer at play. So it's been a fantastic day, I think we all agree. Peter and Gwen done a tremendous job, assisted by all the staff, and it's run like clockwork. And I must say the ceremony was quite beautiful too. Really enjoyed that part. But what can I say about Peter that he hasn't already told you himself? When I first met Peter, I was queuing to register in UCD, University College Dublin, for our accommodation. Big long queue, snaking around the building, went on for miles. Suddenly this tall, confident chap, Peter, strode past, overtaking everybody, and was at the top of the queue. Having skillfully overtaken the unfortunates who lacked his forward approach. Later, when I reached my accommodation, who was there but Peter, my new flatmate? And I thought, Lord bless us and save us. He introduced himself to my parents and I with a charming extended handshake, saying, and I have to pull Jeremy up, it's not our clock, it's Peter Lawler Straffen. This forthright confidence and charm have stood him in good stead throughout his eventful life. Peter is a perfectionist. You only have to look at how well he's turned us out today to see that. And also in Gwen, he has the perfect woman. Many a young damsel have fallen for Peter's obvious charms, but it wasn't until he met Gwen that Peter finally surrendered. He surrendered several times on a trip to South America, but I won't go into that right now. He has also had a few knocks in life, quite literally. One I remember is he encountered our neighbour naked late one night. He proceeded to give Peter a hiding. However, he picked himself up in true Peter spirit. Nothing gets Peter down. His short detention in Donnybrook Garda police station has become a colourful tale to add to his storytelling, which is another of his talents. These stories become exaggerated, not to deceive, but to add to the amusement of his audience. We have a saying here where you can tell a story till the cows come home. Peter's version, there'd be several cows, several different homes. Peter. Peter's well-read, well-travelled, and a bit of a film aficionado. However, his film buff skills were severely tested on a lads' weekend to Brussels. Peter was keen to check out the local theatres and cinemas to see what they had on offer. However, there weren't the kind of cinemas that he had in mind. And a hasty retreat to a nearby cafe was made by all. Peter is warm, charming, charismatic, enigmatic, strong, intelligent, and witty. He lights up and commands an audience, but the way he does it is in an all-inclusive fashion. You feel instantly like he is your best friend, and his loyalty is second to none. Sorry, Peter, I can't read your writing here. Gwen, in Peter, you have the perfect life partner. Peter, Gwen displays very similar qualities to you, and you guys are made for each other. You're a lucky man. Although Gwen has the beautiful looks to boot. Thank you very much.
Hey guys, hey. Hey. Hey, how are you?
Hi, everybody.
Good. I met Peter in UCD in 2001. We shared a flat on campus with another student, Vincent from Belgium. I don't think Peter was too happy at first, to be honest with you. Like to be sharing an apartment with a Belgian guy who barely spoke English at the time. And a Frenchman, yeah, himself. A smelly, arrogant, wine drinking. Mind you. He wasn't the wine aficionado that he used to be. So a wine drinking Frenchman. But as the year went on, we got to know each other really well, and we had a great year actually. And here we are, 16 years later.
17. We've left university a long time.
Yeah, 16, 17, or whatever. But I like to think that Vincent, myself, and all the international students that were hanging around our flat at the time, we had we planted the seed that would grow and flourish into Peter's love for travel and foreign cultures. A love that brought Peter and Gwen together. And it's their love that brings us all together here tonight.
Well done.
Like one said a minute ago, Peter's got loads of qualities already.
Don't even listen.
So I'm not going to name them all like that. No, just do that. But the one I like most is that he always goes out of his way to make people around him feel welcome and comfortable. I think he got that from his parents. I was lucky enough a couple of years ago at this man's wedding to stay at his parents' place for a week. And
Good wedding.
it felt like a year, didn't it?
You chewed all through the internet stuff.
I don't think I could have felt more welcome and comfortable than I did at the time. Well, maybe I could have felt slightly more comfortable if I could actually understand PJ when he talks to me.
PJ, that's PJ, that's it's on me.
That would be something. It's my fault. So long.
Oh yeah, we needed a piece for you and a half afterwards.
That's alright.
What about my internet?
I let that
Just to illustrate what kind of a man Peter is and what it means to me and what kind of a man he is, really. Just gonna tell you guys a story. Even though Peter and I we lost touch for a while when he moved to Australia. He's the first person I wanted to see when I actually decided to go traveling about two and a half years ago. And that's actually when I met Gwen. The first time I actually met you, Gwen. I heard about you. Never seen you before.
It's good that you heard about her.
Yeah. So we didn't actually lose touch that much.
Yeah.
Just didn't see each other. We 3 days into my trip, Peter and I went for a big walk, tramping walk, right, in a national park.
Well, that's Kiwi. They call it hiking in Australia. Bushwalking. Sorry.
That's in the bush. In the bush. Look, is that 10 minutes? Well, the 2 days in the walk, like I started to get sick, and at the campsite. So Pete, he walked for an hour to get a signal on his phone, and called the ranger. And the ranger told us to stay put and wait it out, basically. So that's what we did. The day after that, it got worse. And the following night, Peter went for another one of his nightly looking for signal walks. And I ended up being trucked off to the nearest hospital, and I stayed in the intensive care for 3 days. So basically, 2 different doctors told me after that I was very, I think they used very like 20 times, very close to dying. So basically, Peter saved my life. So that goes to show what kind of a man Peter is. He's he goes out of his way to like show you a good time, takes you on adventurous journeys like that nearly kill you, and then saves the day.
Thank you.
Yeah, seriously, thank you, Peter, for not only for saving life, obviously, but just for being who you are. You're the best friend anyone can ask for.
Nearly there, folks. As you can see, each of us have, we've all wrote our own words. I find this organised as surprised me. I think they clearly had a long flight, but they were able to just sit down and write down what they needed to get down. And maybe just a little bit more prepared than the 3 who were all dressed by somebody else.
You don't know Australians getting.
Well, you just had 2 wonderful speeches there from the support act, as I like to call them. So, as I said, we're getting close to the end, but just strap yourselves in for the catalogue of Kenny and Peter escapades. I would advise you all to recharge your glasses maybe at this stage. But luckily for all of you, and probably for me as well, most of the escapades that Peter and I have gotten up to have probably been slightly X-rated. So feel free to buy me a drink later, and maybe I'll fill you in then. Just so long as you're PJ, I'm not anywhere now. Bye. I met Pete just like Ronan and Aurelian in UCD, with the world at our feet and our life paths being forged ahead of us. Pete and I spent every morning watching Wheel of Fortune videos. Somehow he ended up in banking. Folks, I'm not a scientist. The celebrant Bridget mentioned earlier that Gwen and Peter have a movie night. Well, Gwen, just to inform you, Peter and I used to have a movie night before you two. Just want to get that in there. And it was during our movie nights that I really got to know Peter. Him and his standards. He became the most cynical moviegoer of all time. To make matters worse, he still loves to give a good movie recommendation. Just make sure you haven't seen the film with him, because then it'll be no good. But if you've seen it by himself, it's the best film ever. When you must have immense patience. Cinema nights became less and less for Peter and I as he moved back to his homestead just to save a bit of cash before he could go travelling. I would occasionally head out that way for the night, and for these nights I would get to sample the treats of the cellar. PJ's cellar. PJ, he won't ever thank you for this, but he does like to show off a good bottle of wine, something he clearly learned from Gwen. I think the fact that it was ill-gotten wine added a little bit more to the finish of it all. I feel that I should thank you publicly, and then inform the room that people would have no qualms about taking wine from any of you, so please drink up. Aurelian referenced how Pete was his shining armor. Well, there was an incident on a mountainside in Bogota that I needed that brave and courageous man, and he was frozen to the spot. Luckily for both of us, and still utterly confusing to both of us to this day, the Navy came to our rescue. On a mountainside, and I googled this, 510 kilometers from the sea. The Navy. It turns out when the locals say, don't walk over there, they mean don't walk over there. And not just during business hours, that's a 24-hour warning. I did place a caveat earlier of some X-rated material, but Pete, God damn it, we had some good fun on that trip, huh? It's something I've always liked. It's something I've always liked about Peter, that he isn't a sheep, and he very much likes to make up his own mind and to do his own thing. And the safe option isn't always the fun option. When I had to leave him after a few weeks, somebody called Gwen was taking my place, and maybe the dynamic of the trip was changed ever so slightly. I was at home after a few weeks, and through probably a couple of Facebook messages here and there, we arranged to have a Skype to catch up when he was in India. Typically, we launch up Skype, visit at the start, and just as I'm about to hang up and dial again, it all goes crystal clear. Hi Peter, how's it all going? I can now poop anywhere, he says. That man knows how to start a conversation. And sometimes that is all you need in a friend. This may sound like a bit of a daft thing to say, but as the parent of 3 young children, maybe I just have a new appreciation for these things. Peter is a perfect guy to bring home and introduce to your parents. That is a credit to both his mom and his dad. And I wouldn't say that all of my friends, not even the ones in this room, standing here, I wouldn't say that about all of my friends, not even the ones standing in this room, not even the ones standing here beside me. One of them has picked a fight with both my dad and my dog, and lost both times. But Peter is a gentleman, and Gwen is a very, very, very lucky lady, and her family really must know that they are gaining a really, really good guy. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the speeches. Please raise a glass to the happy couple. To Peter and Gwen. Chin chin.
We're not done, and you're not done with me. So, I remember nothing. I'm done. I really am done. I am actually so now relieved that I'm married and my life is over. I'm done. I can just I'll go in to book my holidays and I'll go on package holidays and I'm no longer traveling. It's great. But before we all finish up, we do have one extra bit of celebration. We've had a massive amount of celebration, but for my good friend Gareth over here, we do have to have one big rousing happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Hip hip! Hip hip! Forward.
Happy birthday, Gareth. If you have a tie on, you can loosen your tie. If you have high heels on, you are welcome to take them off. If you have a cravat on, burn it. If you have a corsage on, you can take it off and admire it. Over here we have a loving and impressive couple. In front of us we have two sets of very proud parents, and at the back we have a couple of rescue souls I can see. In the big house behind us we have two beautiful cakes, two sharp knives. You have two hands, one for a cocktail glass, one for a slice of cake. Please come and join us in the big house. Gwen and Peter, congratulations. It's been a fabulous day.